And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week. This week we commemorated the 22nd anniversary of 9/11, the most horrific attacks on American soil in our history, done by foreign terrorists attacking multiple sites that day, and all of us paused to remember, reflect, and never forget. And we're grateful to our friend Jerry Spangler for asking all of us to consider whether or not we are worthy of the sacrifices that Americans made that day, particularly those who took down the plane in Somerset County. And where was Joe Biden? Well, he was as far away from any of those sites as he could possibly be while still being on American soil. He was in Alaska on his way back from Vietnam. You've got to wonder about that. No president has ever done that. Most have visited the sites or multiple sites on 9/11. President Bush and President Obama took one such anniversary to do it from the White House, but Joe Biden was on his way back from Vietnam, where he didn't exactly have a stellar performance. His own team had to pull the mic after he told people that he thought he'd go to bed now. This is our president, and while our foreign policy ends at our shores because we don't criticize our president when he's overseas, you've got to wonder what's really going on when he pulls these things and then comes back and tells us that he remembers distinctly being at ground zero the day after those horrific attacks. Of course, he wasn't. And whether it's a lie or simply another slip of his imagination, we don't know particularly, but he's lied to us an awful lot, so I'm betting on that one. And of course, things don't really improve for the Biden family towards week's end as an announcement comes that a grand jury has indicted Hunter on 3 separate gun charges for bluntly lying on a form necessary to get a gun because he was on drugs and had a drug problem. You know, it's really fascinating that one of the Democrats' defenses of Joe Biden on other issues is, well, he was a drug addict. You know, how do you come up with the notion that foreign entities, these oligarchs from other countries, would give a drug addict tens of millions of dollars to do what? If he's an incapacitated drug addict, why are they dealing with him? Well, it's self-evident as to why they are, and that leads to the next issue for the Biden family. The announcement by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy this week that they are going to undertake an impeachment inquiry into the Biden family dealings. And I believe firmly that what this is going to reveal is an incredible pattern of criminality and corruption within the Biden family. All sorts of bad things have been going on there, from the use of fake names to potential money laundering to bribery to influence peddling of the worst sort. Most of it's going to come tumbling out. And while you can't indict a sitting president, you certainly can impeach one. And it is going to be increasingly evident, in my judgment, that this president should be impeached. And midweek, Pennsylvania, once again, the epicenter of the media universe, as the Pennsylvania State Police, men and women, concluded a 2-week manhunt for a convicted killer, tracking him down and bringing him back once again to custody. Danelo Cavalcante had crab-walked up the walls of a Chester County prison and walked out and had police on the run for a long time, but the dedicated men and women of the Pennsylvania police brought him back to justice. He'll spend the rest of his life behind bars because of both them and a dog named Yoda that I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about. One of the political questions that emerged from all of that was the press conference following their apprehension of Cavalcante, where Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro showed up to make a lot of the announcement before the national television audience. Now, whether or not the governor should be there is the subject of fair debate. I'm old-fashioned and old school. I think it's a time for the Pennsylvania State Police to take a very well-deserved bow on their own. But he is the governor, and he certainly is entitled to be there. But when he made a spectacle out of it by promising to get the person who had an Eagles hoodie stolen from them, get the Eagles shirt back to them, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that really doesn't have any place at that moment. It's a serious moment for a very serious set of circumstances and ought to be treated that way. It's time that some adults were back in charge of the governor's press office instead of the college Democrats. And in sports this week, I'm going to move to one I don't usually talk about, tennis, where Coco Gauff wins the U.S. Open, the third teenager to so do, 19 years old. but her maturity far exceeds her years, as you saw both before her big win and after. An incredibly articulate media spokesperson. She has the maturity of someone far beyond her longevity on this planet, and it was put to the test. Why? Because after she won, she knelt and prayed, thanking God for what He had allowed her to do that day. Now, we've got people kneeling all over the place, and the media focuses in on them with laser beams when they're there to tell America what a lousy country this is by kneeling during the national anthem. But when someone kneels to pray, somehow either the media cuts away, which ESPN did, telling people that, oh, she was just taking a moment to reflect. Tony Dungy, Super Bowl winning coach, by the way, quickly pointed out, no, you got it all wrong there. She was praying. She's a devout Christian who incidentally prays with her father, a former collegiate athlete, a hoopster, and pretty good one, I understand. She prays with him before every match, not only for herself, but for her opponent. And so her witness to our Lord is something that she should be very rightfully proud of, and we should all commend and applaud, because He told us, "He who honors me, I will honor," and she certainly has done that. And she is an incredible athlete, a phenomenal tennis player, a huge star on the international stage. You're going to see a lot from her in the years to come. It's going to be fun to watch, and I hope that we see her kneel and pray after every single match, signaling that she's been victorious, or even when she's not, that she recognizes where all of her strength truly comes from. God bless her. And for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.